Speaking of rude,
you of all people shouldn't judge men for being poopy men.
I know. That's pretty
Look,
fair.
I have several rules, and one of them is never poop on stream, because I'll get banned from Twitch.tv.
That is very true. That is can't argue with that rule.
So, just so you know, even though we're probably going to time skip, when you leave your little conversation, Davis and Jason, Rain had been passed off to Anna, who then is now trying to help Rain search. But Anna doesn't even know what she's trying to search for, so they're just kind of like watching.
It's the mask.
They're watching videos. Yeah, but she didn't know that you sent it to Rain, so she's just kind of like trying to teach Rain how to use a computer. Anyway, what are the sort of things you want to do before you leave? Because you're going to leave in a couple of days. Time can be a wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
That's not a thing, but
it is literally a thing.
It is actually.
I need a
That's
ping.
that's way more a thing than most of the things I say.
That's been a thing for a long. That's been a thing for longer than you've existed.
No. So I need a ping from the crew, IRL, in the Roll20 chat. How much money you have? I'm gonna look over equipment really quickly too.
I don't think any of you have enough money to get armor.
I have a decent amount of money.
I think I have money.
I wish.
I spent some and I still have 975.
Oh my god, you guys are so rich.
I know.
Those two are rich. Okay, you two could afford shit.
I could afford my.
I never had to buy armor, so I was like, okay.
Thomas is funding all of us, but he just doesn't realize.
So woven body armor, which is the same exact armor.
Woven body armor is if you were trying to buy something here, because you're not really meant to leave, although you can take a shovel out. You'd be able to buy woven body armor here? They would have a sort of guild store that could sell that.
How much? What is it? Woven body armor, 400 credits.
Yeah, it is encumbrance 2. It is woven. It is 15 AC.
So the it's 400 credits. I have 975, so I could buy 2 of those, but it put me down in the poorhouse. I could buy. That's assuming everybody can wear them. I don't know if everybody has the ability to wear it.
What are the requirements? Just encumbrance, yeah.
It's just encumbrance.
There's encumbrance of 2.
Yeah.
And it is combat armor, which is nice. So I would get that for somebody that thinks that they need the woven body armor. Otherwise, I don't know why security armor is better. It must be in
security armor is lower encumbrance, but it is the TL4 equivalent, so it's harder to find.
Instead of just woven body armor, we also have armored vac suits. But I feel like didn't we already use one of those last?
You have vac suits.
I thought you said something that we had armored ones before, but
no.
So I would actually make the offer of either woven body armor or armored vac suit. Armored undersuit would be a good idea for you, Neil, but that's like so expensive.
Yeah, you'd even maybe struggle to find that here.
I have an armored undersuit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you already have one?
Yeah, but it puts me at AC 14 because plus 1 dex. So.
Yeah, which is nice. I'm at AC 15 plus 0 dex.
Yeah, I'm actually at AC. I've got secure clothing, so I'm at AC 14.
Yeah, so you guys are actually fine. What's Tomas have?
His will not change no matter what armor you give him.
He's got
AC 16 is my armor.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it's with nothing on.
Ironclad.
So he mentions getting nicer armor for the crew. I mean, theoretically, I could get them woven body, and that would upgrade them by 2.
Are you thinking armored vac suits instead then, because that might be more practical?
I mean, it is more practical for the sense of they could do it. But the
when
problem
you
is, like,
need them, you need them.
Yeah, it's like exactly that. It's like, and not just them could use it. Any 2 of us.
Yeah, because right now you essentially at your airlocks you have 3 vac suits each at each airlock, which you go and you change into. You would essentially just buy one, keep one at each airlock, and they would just be useful whenever you need them. You know?
Our weapons won't work in vacuum, though, right?
No, I think by standard they do.
Oh, do they?
They're space weapons. Don't worry about it.
But no, because I was reading like there's void weapons which are designed to work in 0G.
They're better at it.
Well, those are TL4 weapons, so he's not wrong, Ollie. TL3 weapons aren't supposed to.
Do they
TL4
not?
are.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if we have mag pistols and mag rifles, those do, but like, because it requires combustion to fire most weapons. So if you're saying we've got ray weapons, then not ray. What's the word I'm looking for? Rail weapons, like mag weapons.
I mean, you know you don't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So if we have combustion-based weapons,
Where the balls does it say that?
In the equipment bit, it says void carbines are designed for vacuum and zero G.
Yeah. No.
they have essentially no recoil. Because the idea is like if you
I know
fire
those do because it discusses them in a section part. It doesn't seem to discuss. It doesn't seem to discuss an actual. You cannot do this in space.
No, but it's like
Because you do have a -2 on everything in space. Maybe that takes that away. I don't know. But yes.
Oh, that could be why. Okay.
Yeah,
That could be why.
your guns can operate in space.
'Cause
They are designed to.
The way like a round of ammunition works is like it's all encapsulated in the amount of air you need. That's why you can fire a gun into water. It's all already in there. So when the hammer comes forward and hits it, everything you need is there. So
oh right.
it's the -2 probably because the enhanced recoil.
-2 is mostly
fire
because you're
in
meant to
space.
be in a vac suit,
Yeah.
and it's just clumsy. But yeah, you can use your gun in space. Those guns that probably don't exist in the setting are designed for it.
So how much?
And
are
that would
these-
totally be something that actually Thomas could modify if you gave a shit about it to make it like more applicable. But anyway,
How much are these armored vac suits?
They are
400.
Okay. I would definitely chip in to buy one of those, or I'd give all of my money to buy almost two.
Yeah,
That
I think we should buy 2. No question on that one.
You think we need to?
do you want to buy
I
one
think
each?
I think it's good to have
Because
2
you've
armored
already
guys.
the only times you've needed vac suits, you've needed them twice. Once was 2 people, once was 1.
Listen,
So
we
it's just
all know
useful
at
to
some
have
point
2.
in time the ship is going to have its air removed from most of the compartments. We're going to have intruders. We're going to have to fight them. So having 2 on board is not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think.
So-
Are you gonna buy one? Thomas is gonna buy one essentially.
I think that's a fair way of going about it, rather than just saying Tomas spend most. That's stupid. So
good idea.
1 and 1. I just
One,
dropped
one.
my credits to 500. I can add that to my character sheet.
By 500 or 400?
I dropped. Sorry, 2 by 400. So
Sure.
So 2x armored vac suits. I just don't want to turn this whole hour into a shopping stream. To me, that's boring.
He says shopping very slowly.
No, we were debating. So, does anybody else care to upgrade their armor, or are you like, no, I'm good with my 14?
My armor's decent enough.
They're fine.
Okay.
Your ghouls are good, and Thomas's won't change. So, on the other topic you were thinking of, weapons.
Which was weapons. Yep. So, Ollie, do we have access to TL4 or no?
Well, the TLs don't really fucking exist in the
I
same
know,
way
you
in
do
this
it a little
game.
different.
But
Yeah.
essentially, the stuff you have is the stuff you could buy. You
Okay,
can't
so
buy
you don't-
anything above what you already have. Where it comes into different things would be if you wanted to change up and buy like an SMG or a regular shotgun or something like that. But the you can't really go beyond combat rifle in terms of stuff here anyway.
Yeah. So no mag or spike or laser. So
Like I said,
Remember-
those probably don't even
Yeah.
exist in the setting.
And remember that if you did want
Or
to
at least
change
this
out your
part.
weapons, we have a spare combat rifle.
You do
anyway
also have a spare combat rifle
that
with
has
a shotgun attachment that no one is using.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if that's something that what's her name isn't using,
She's not using it.
Yeah, I'm
She
using
last
one.
time when you thought you might get boarded, she went and put that weapon away and took her weapon out.
I mean, I would totally carry that unless Tomas wanted it, because that's not a medical officer weapon.
No.
No.
Yeah,
I
I probably wouldn't need it.
And it's yours.
It'd be badass, but
Was it axe shotgun? Or
yeah,
shotgun
exactly.
Axe, right?
Shotgun axe.
Yeah, makes me so happy. And how about the grenades?
You wouldn't be able to buy grenades here. If you wanted to take a shuttle down to the planet, which you don't really have time for,
That's
maybe, but yeah, you wouldn't be able to buy grenades here.
All right, if we can't get grenades, how about demo charges? I assume that's the same.
Demo charges actually have a better chance because they actually have a usage in a ship, whereas grenades do not. Actually, buying demolition charges would be possible, but you'd probably only be able to buy one, and I think they're fairly expensive.
250, which is expensive.
Yeah, you'd only be able to buy the one, probably for legal reasons.
Will, I started with more money than you, so if you want to do 100 and I'll do 150.
No, I'll do the 150.
So I'll do 100.
Yeah.
Okay. And that I'll throw that onto my character sheet real quick. Ooh, I did not subtract 100. So I'll add that onto my character sheet. Demo charge.
And I still have more money than Jason.
Yes, you do. I have 475 left.
Raid.
She doesn't.
Yeah,
care.
we're not gonna talk about Red.
Okay, in general equipment, anything else that we care to do? Like, we don't have things like low light goggles, vac suits. We have vac suits across the board, right, Ollie?
You have 6
half
vac
of them.
suits.
6?
Yeah.
6,
Because
yeah.
you were actually going to have 5, but then I realized you had a crew of 6 at a time, so you have 6. You have a spare.
Okay.
Now you have 8.
Okay.
Which means you don't even have enough room in like the airlock closets. So like at least one of them is just in a box somewhere now.
I'm like
Which is
practicing
funny.
modifications on it.
Yeah, it's just like in someone. It just you basically use it as decoration somewhere.
So I understand that a field radio is TL4 because it's designed to be like planetary. I'm curious. So by field radio, it's almost like I'm imagining like we even had them as kids, but they're a much more adult.
Are you
and
talking
advanced
walkie-talkies?
version. Like walkie-talkie hubs that don't use the ship's communications. They work on a frequency that other ships would not be able to just automatically pick up, because it's like
You basically want like an inner and outer ship communication thing that doesn't go via your ship.
I mean, when I say, if you're saying outer ship, I mean like not even the distance between one ship and the next. I mean like on the roof of the ship versus inside the ship. And the whole reason is sometimes we're going to have our systems hacked. It's good to have a means to communicate with one another.
This ship is so
isn't
small you can yell to the other people.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
You
I'm just
don't need
curious
that in this ship. In a bigger
Yeah,
ship,
okay,
that
that's
would be a
fair.
good idea, like the other ship. This ship is
I'm
so
overthinking.
you can literally yell, like, you're fine.
All right, guys, anything else that you're thinking of?
I might want to buff my damage slightly to like revolver, rifle, shotgun, which are relatively cheap. I can easily afford one of those.
I'm just looking up glow bugs because I think I want to get a massive.
I think I've got a couple of them, but
palm-sized disc that can adhere to any non-porous surface. When turned on, it emits a white light, illuminating everything within 10 meters for 24 hours. 100 glow bugs can recharge off a single type A cell. But isn't there a way to control glow bugs too?
No,
or
they
is
stick. They're just sticky lights.
Yeah, that's an upgrade for transhumans or something like that, I think.
Maybe.
Okay, cool. So then I think we're good. I think I'm just gonna grab some glow bugs, Ollie.
Yeah, Jason, if you want to buy a gun, do it, and of course tell me when you're like taking it out and stuff. But you are free to do that while you're here. So what else do you want to do while you're here? I mean, I know you actually wanted to do those looks and checkups and things, but the person you sent on that job to start with is incompetent. So does someone else want to actually try and look up that those tattoos?
I mean, I totally can, but how about Anna first?
She is an
Anna
NPC.
failed.
Okay, that's fine. Then I'll do no. Is it no?
No, it's administer. Because you're looking
Okay,
it up.
administer intelligence.
Mhm.
And I also had the other thing. Oh, hello. Hey, hello. Is that a critical? That's a critical success. Hello. Double
Okay.
six.
hey, oh baby.
Oh, baby, you.
You figure out via cross-referencing of all the networks and all that sort of thing. He very much was involved in a smuggling ship. He was arrested for a kind of fairly minor smuggling charge while he was in prison, and actually he was in prison at the... Oh, I have the name somewhere. While he was there, he got this tattoo because he joined a prison gang and stuff, but it seems like he's no longer involved in it in any way. It's sad that I lost the name of it. Maybe it was on like another version of this save. But he was involved in a prison gang. It seems, if we were looking up around it, that he's cut all contact and is sort of working legitimately now. Though of course, there's always a chance he's still in contact with them. But this is one of those things you can kind of actually look up their ship logs of all the outs and ins and outs of this person's back and forths. Of course, there are ways to go around that, but they require time and money. He has not contacted anyone, and he actually, if you go so far as to like look into like, he's cut contact.
All right, so I'll obviously I have this information. I take it in, probably find out like how long ago that was, all those details.
Yeah, that would have been. Do I even have the? It was quite a long time ago when he left prison. He basically left prison, got a job on this ship, went up the ranks a little, and has been here ever since.
So I'm gonna button up this info with more or less like a medium priority sort of just keep an eye, like a casual eye on the situation in case anything pings up in your display, and send it over to Jason so he can kind of watch because he's the comms guy, so he's gonna keep an eye on things. And I'll be fine with just that. Also, I don't know if anybody else cared about melee weapons. I only have a knife volley. Do we have access to advanced weapons or no?
Not in this shop.
Okay.
I would tell you that Thomas has an advanced medium weapon in his inventory.
Do they have shock batons?
Yes.
I might pick up one of those then.
It's a baton? Why'd you call it a baton?
That's the correct pronunciation.
A baton? Is O-N pronounced in? I'm sorry,
It's weird that you say baton because that's a French pronunciation. It is a French origin word, but you should pronounce it the way he does because you always pronounce everything wrong.
But yeah, baton is, I believe, the correct way to say it.
No.
But don't you have a brother whose name is Garen? Which is an O-N?
Yeah, which is also a French word. But we don't call him that, do we? It's a dirty word. We call him Gary. So
with that, if nothing else is coming up and you've got nothing else you want to do while you're here, we will actually go ahead and hurry up to when the ship is nice and fixed, which took around about a week of fixing of because you weren't just fixing the outside of the hull, you were actually maintenancing the ship properly inside and out because you were given an unlimited budget. So you're just gonna do the whole thing. And a group of people to help. So the Magpie is brilliant right now. It is probably in the best condition it's ever been. When you it comes time soon for a takeoff. It when the reactor's turned on, it's no longer making that clicking noise you can hear nearby. Like all the vents, actually, they don't make like weird annoying noises. For a ship that's always been a little run down, it's starting to really, this baby's really purring right now. When it is time to head off, Anna's doing like all the pre-flight checks and she's like complimenting Thomas of all the work well done when you're pretty much all sitting in the bridge, and she starts a kind of long back and forth process with the pilot on the other ship, making sure that all their calculations are aligned so that they can you can punch together. None of you need to do any kind of rolls right now. I was just thinking on the top of my head if any of you do. So
heads up, I got a revolver and a step down.
Cool. After quite a long time, Anna is she's actually very freaking good at her job, not just the quick actions of a pilot when it comes to fighting and things, but the math behind punching, the organization of like landing properly, all that sort of stuff.
Oh my god, that is right. There was one more thing I was supposed to check for, and that was just reading of their manual. It's literally one quick roll.
Okay, you did that. I thought I assumed you would have done that anyway.
Oh, I didn't know if you needed me to roll for it.
No.
Okay, cool. Never mind. Then we're good.
Roll to read.
No, roll to like comprehend.
I know,
understand,
I
memorize.
understand. And then also, you already did a roll earlier that was very similar, so you're essentially just gonna be. It's one of those things where you're gonna have future knowledge in the future. I have a stray hair that's pissing me the balls off.
She cut it. All of it.
One day I'll just show up to a stream just with no hair,
That's a lie.
and you'll be very confused. It's not
That's
a
a
lie.
lie.
It might happen one day.
It's never happening.
Short hair then. I would never go bald. I feel like I'd have a weird shaped head, and that's very important. Anyway, after probably around 10-15 minutes, maybe even longer, because she's been sitting here preparing some things before the call even started, organizing with the other pilot, the two ships take off. Your ship actually takes off a little bit before theirs. Well, it's less than that. It's just that everything's faster, and even Anna isn't expecting it to be this fast because things are just operating much faster. The airlocks close faster. Like, things like that. Like, just because you've actually gone in and removed, like, 10 years worth of, like, grime and replaced parts that are real old. The Flowering Rose is a big, hulking ship, so it takes quite a long time to fly. And when you start flying alongside them as you're leaving atmosphere, if you're looking through the scans and things, it's just apparent like how much smaller your ship is compared to them, because their ship is just massive. But you strap yourselves down, all the math goes in for the punch, and with a kick, you start flying through metaspace at impossible speeds. This is going to take you 6 days to punch together. And the Jason, why don't you give me a program notice intelligence check? Notice intelligence. It's Jason.
Jason.
The sort of the punch tethering, the shadowing, works completely fine. You can actually, you are still within communications range of your ship. Sometimes it can be hard to communicate with in a punching ship to another punching ship. That would definitely be something you'd have to roll for. But you are essentially within visual range, although it doesn't necessarily work that way. You are going side by side. You're in its wake, traveling towards Was. And for the most part, the days are pretty clear. You haven't been in a punch like this for quite a time, and it's always a little boring because there's not much you can do, because the ship is locked down. Some functions don't even work properly while you're traveling through metaspace. Oh. I had something set up wrong.
It's normal.
No, it's actually not normal, because I actually run my shows real well. It's just on this show I get tired of your shit and tired in general. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, who would ever make a mistake though? No one does it. No one doesn't spend the first hour of their show not recording it. That would just be.
I fucking hate my life.
So, why doesn't Jason roll me a program intelligence?
Because he wasn't listening the first time you asked him.
And Tomaz, you can give me a notice intelligence. And no, this was the first time I asked Scott, you salty, sassy boy. If you're going
20 minutes ago.
If you salt, you should at least be sassing something that actually exists.
Like
To
20
be
minutes
fair,
ago.
I did this to him earlier. He asked me to do something, and it was like the only time that something just went. Whoosh, I just totally
You
ignored
just
it.
Scotted.
It registered later.
No. Didn't Scott? It was like 15 seconds of us all being like, hello, and he'd be like, oh.
He does do that sometimes, but you do that more often.
What? No, never.
Jason, your job while you're punching is mostly to keep a scan of their ship compared to just in general, as well as your ship. You actually notice when you're traveling through punch, there's an average speed that remains mostly consistent. Although speed can't really be measured in the same way because you're traveling through metaspace, and the logistics of it are confusing and not understood.
You're not understood.
Well, I mean, you're gonna get a big, tasty clue to plot, but I guess if you don't want that, then you notice them start to slow down. Very imperceivably so to most people. Stuff that you might think is within acceptable parameters, but you sort of, with your heightened suspicion, actually go and scan their ship more, and you actually notice that their punch drive seems to be having a very minor malfunction. Not enough to cause a problem now, but enough that, if undetected, could tear their ship apart if they tried to punch again. One of those things where it's just like one piece that's falling out of place. One thing that's going wrong that is very hard to notice. You noticed it.
I'm gonna call up Thomas or shout to Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas, come and have a
Yeah.
look. What do you make of this? And then I would
Show
point it.
and
Point it out.
You would be able. So I actually gave you that notice check because you would have been. If you actually rolled better, you would have noticed that you were gaining on them.
Okay. Okay.
But when you actually come up and check, you can very quickly, because their punch drive is of a similar make to yours, despite it being a very big ship. Because size doesn't matter.
Not true.
Not true at all. You do notice that, yeah, they've got a malfunction that is very dangerous. Not so much now, because the main thing with punching is the initial punch, and occasionally the stopping. But it's the initial punch that's the problem. And that could cause very fatal errors, honestly, for the whole crew.
Bro, I need to get onto that ship. I say to Jason.
But how do you get onto a ship while it's moving at light
You
speed?
can't.
No, you can't.
So we have to wait for them to pull in we have to wait for them to pull in.
I will allow that. But yes, essentially you'll need to wait for them to pull in. But you can tell them that they've got this issue. Which I imagine you would.
Yeah, I would imagine the
Or
comms
not.
off. Oh, maybe not.
Is that Jason saying, I don't want to tell them that they got an issue? Because you are going to be stopping at ways anyway.
I imagine our chairs are
For
swiveling, right?
time, like, for at least, like,
Yeah.
2 to 4
Yeah,
days.
so we're going to
at
be
a time.
stopping at ways. So our chairs are swivelly, right?
Yes.
Thomas is-
Actually, your chairs don't swivel because they're archaic. You wish they swivel,
Oh,
but they
that's
have this
depressing.
spine at the back, so that the G-force allows it to sort of like
Yeah.
pull back properly, which means it doesn't swivel.
I mean, I presume Thomas is like leaning and looking
Yeah.
at the screen.
I just wanted to know
And-
for immersion, man.
Yeah, exactly. I needed to know because otherwise I'd have been like, turn it. What if we don't tell them? I'm just suggesting because it could be the work of an inside job, and if we were to show them we're onto it, we might miss an opportunity.
It's
They could-
smart, but if we don't tell them, how will we fix it?
Well, they have to pull into waste anyway. We could just hop aboard then and fix it then.
My biggest concern is that if it is anyone's doing, it's an engineer's doing, because they would know what they're doing. But if I tried to hop aboard and try to fix it, they'd probably notice.
We're at least cutting 2 days off their time for preparation if they're attempting to destroy the ship via that means.
Fair. I think we should do this. We should not tell them. We should do this plan exactly. Though I think we need to at least make maybe their captain to be told. Someone on their ship needs to know, or we need to have one of us on their ship.
Well, we have to presume that their captain is above board. Otherwise, the whole ship is probably screwed.
Yeah, if their captain isn't above board, then so I think we should at least tell the captain, even if we suggest he keep it hushed. That way, if something bad does begin to happen, then potentially he could have someone fix it.
Basically, we just want to avoid them. If we have to drop out of punch, we don't want them to try and punch again.
Yes. Okay. Well, perfect. Once we drop out of punch, we can deal with it.
Do you guys inform me of the scenario, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'd give you a heads up. Check whether you're happy with me to speak to the captain, or whether you wanted to do it.
Nope. Your communications, you can handle that. Just do me a favor, and I'll like quickly scan through the, notes or whatever I got from their manual, and just send that over to them. Be like, and use this protocol. This makes sense for how they're supposed to do things.
Yeah. When you do contact their captain, and you tell him pretty blunt, do you tell him the details, or just we're worried you should not?
I have no input other than
No, I know. I wasn't talking to you, bitch.
I was telling you. Listen, I'll mute you.
What's his name? Captain
Yeah, I
Dillac.
wish I could mute you.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
not unless there's a pillow in my mouth.
they're grumpy today.
I'm just tired. I didn't. There was not enough time for a nap, which I could guarantee I would have woken up from.
Set an alarm.
It doesn't work when you
No
have
excuse.
fucking
That's what I did.
lethargy.
Captain Dillac, this is Jason, Magpie's comm officer. I was wondering whether we might be able to have a private word.
Yeah. This is a private communication line. It was set up by your captain, I think.
Right. No one else in the room?
No one else in my headset.
Okay. Well, in that case, don't make your responses really obvious. So we've been scanning your ship, as I'm sure you're aware, and we've noticed a slight malfunction in your reactor.
Really?
No problem at present. However, if you were to enter punch once dropping out of this current punch, it could tear your ship apart. To that end, when we drop out of waste, our engineer will come aboard and fix it. Our engineer will be doing this so as to avoid any suspicion or letting anyone who might know on board that this is happening straight up. And to that end, we'd also like for you to keep this to yourself. In an emergency situation, ensure that the ship doesn't enter punch again. However, for the moment, do nothing. We're just making you aware so that in an emergency situation, you will not punch again.
There's a bit of a pause. Yeah, he's just sort of understood.
Excellent. Rest assured, our engineer is very skilled and will fix the problem as soon as possible.
No doubt.
And fingers crossed we may find evidence of tampering, which will show us who may have done this. If not, it's just unlucky and we're there to fix it.
Good. And he'll
Have a nice day. Magpie out.
Yeah. Cool. With that, the rest of the punch continues. There's no major issues, although you would notice Anna's a little more on edge than normal because there's more problems possible because you're trying to chase someone's wake. But you do actually end up punching into the Quartos system. Now, I briefly mentioned Quartos before. Quartos is a large magma world that is rich in mineral mining and similar ventures. But it's a magma world, so the people working on the planet, usually to support people working on the planet and the surrounding area, they live on the moons. The main moon is actually the moon of Quartos, or is it Momon? The main moon, which is usually when the people refer to Quartos, they talk about Momon, is a big shipyard where they do all the foundries to actually like smelt the minerals and ores and stuff they found down below. But Was is where is almost known as one of the many multi-system trading posts. It's sort of the trading post for the system, And when you go towards the moon, it's a large moon, and you would see Jason, because you've probably never been here before, or at least maybe stopped in outside. It does have atmosphere, both the moons do, and there are many smaller moons, but there are 2 big moons. But it's a very thin atmosphere and very low gravity, so most people do live in atmospheric chambers, but you aren't going down to the planet because the flowering rose cannot enter any atmosphere. It can't get down to the gravity well like that. So you stop off at an orbital platform, but unlike the one you were at Pike, which was essentially a docking station for cargo ships, this is a big trade platform that is bustling with trade. When you approach, you give all the relevant communication in, and you wait for them to land before afterwards. But basically, all around the edge of this sort of circular trade platform, which would be flat in the middle and have sort of like spires coming down from the base and some above, are ships docking. Yeah, so there are ships docking, and you can even see a few when you're actually approaching. And the Flowering Rose is very much the biggest one of all because it's a big boy, and you can dock there with no problem. So when you dock here at the trading station on Was, and your ships align to the atmosphere of the trading station, what is it you want to do? Before you leave the ship, what's the plan of attack?
I don't think we have much of a plan, really, other than to, right?
We're just safeguarding.
Yeah, safeguard.
Yeah. So I was thinking it might be worth it if me and Thomas go to fix because obviously if it was done via any form of programming, then I can fix or potentially trace that. And if not, it's good for Thomas to have someone to watch his back.
I agree.
I would like to. That is a very long explanation.
Holy wow!
I would like to oracle.
Took up my whole screen.
Question. I would like to oracle the question: how will the terrorists attack the Flowering Rose?
And
So-
what's your level of?
My level is 1, so I can see a day into the future. So I will probably get nothing off this, but I want to try it anyway.
It's cool.
So-
It's cool. I'm down.
Rain always sleeps in late. And when you get to Was Station, it is essentially, because all the clocks use Novus time, usually for your
What?
ship. Yeah, Was. I wasn't sure whether it'd be Was or Wace.
I like
it's
waste
Was.
myself.
That's because you're a Novus. Man.
Yep, I'll call it what I want.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
regard
you
for what-
fucking can. Whenever I have a place, I don't mind multiple pronunciations, usually, as long as they sort of make sense.
Yeah.
Rain sleeps in late. And recently, Rain's been having strange dreams.
Oh shit!
Usually
Yeah, I gotta talk to her.
hard to remember. And I'm actually, you have been talked to her about them, but you've maybe even been actually giving her tips about dream recall. Having her keep
I've
a
told
dream
her to keep
journal.
a dream diary. Yeah,
And when you're
but I haven't got any further yet.
trying to remember this dream that you had, you remember having a nightmare where you woke up in sweating in pain, and you even gripped at your own skin, and Anna was worried because you ended up muttering something about your skin coming off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely. That is okay.
Oh, you
That
didn't
is-
think they would be obvious, would
No,
it?
no, I didn't think it would be obvious, but that is even more cryptic than I was expecting.
Don't worry, Jason. Jason will help you psychoanalyze that.
That's kind of what my intent.
The other question is how much, because I obviously unlike my teleportation, I have had no explanation as to this ability. How much of an intuitive understanding of it do I have, in the sense of, can I tell that this might be something?
When
that-
you've started writing down dreams in the last couple of days, minor things, but they're all relevant. In the last couple of days, they've repeatedly, like, say yesterday, Tomaz dropped the weight on his foot.
Yeah.
You dreamed of him dropping something on his foot, and you remember that, and you don't know why you remember that. More things were going on, but that happened. Like stuff like that.
You're
Like
getting a
minor
lot
things,
of deja vu.
which is why, it would be like deja vu, which is why that memory of your skin coming off, like peeling off, and you're trying to grab at it, and revealing the goo underneath, is so solid to you.
So,
Because you're worried that it might be
when
coming
they're when they're talking about what to do, then Rain will just become like, Jason, you had me keep a dream diary. I've mentioned some of the things seem to be happening. Like I see him in a dream and then it happens.
Yes, Rain. How's that been coming along?
Well, as I say, pretty good. Things are. It's a bit creepy, really. Things seem to happen that I see in dreams, but more importantly than how it's coming along, or more importantly than how it's coming along, the one this morning, it really creeped me out. I woke. I had a dream that the skin was coming off my arms. I think, I don't know, based on what's happened with the previous ones, that would be something that's gonna probably happen today.
Jason, give me a heal check. Heal wisdom.
Oh, baby. Taste my wisdom.
You immediately start thinking that could be the sign of extreme radiation exposure.
I mean, skin slugging off doesn't really come from many other
I mean,
things.
an
I mean, it could be like a chemical agent, it could be like a biological agent. But I mean, that's the thing you immediately. And Jason would think of all those
Steam.
things.
It's not going to be heat. It's not going to be
Steam.
Even that's going to be a bit different.
Big old
Melting
potato
skin.
peeler.
Because you would die from like the steam boiling you out before it would your skin slugging off, I imagine.
No.
We're quite thick for the
you
heat to
are.
get all the way through. Never mind.
Well, if you've had a steam burn, your skin literally starts to melt off.
I mean, I've had my fair share, but that's different.
Okay, Rain. So it was exactly as you say. Your skin began to melt off. Okay.
Yeah. I'm worried because you're going to be going on to their ship today to do stuff with the punch drive, right?
Yes.
I don't know how punch drives work really, but I figure it's got to be some pretty crazy techno stuff.
Pretty
The
much.
reactor, which is usually in the same place or connected in some way, nuclear reactors, nearly always, for ships
I
like this.
presume they're fusion, not fission.
I mean, they're just maybe it's linked. I don't know. I'm guessing here, but because I only saw it from my own my own skin coming off. It's not like I saw anything happen to you. And unlike some of the other things I've seen, like when I saw Thomas drop the weight in his foot, that was different. But this time I only saw myself, so I can't be sure. But just worrying, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll make sure that we take extra precautions because of this. So you may well save our lives yet. As for the dream journal, it seems to be working. So I want you to carry on with that. And if you find that these dreams continue to be too disturbing, if you have dreams of this nature and it's starting to affect your mental state or perhaps your sleep, then I can give you a mild sedative to have when you go to sleep, which should prevent you from dreaming or at least remembering the dreams. But I would suggest for the moment that hopefully we're not always going to be at risk of our skin coming off. So perhaps we'll hold off on that one for a little bit longer and try to view this in a positive light.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a dream. It's a bit worrying, but it. I thank you for the offer to make me not remember them. But I mean, if these things, I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, nothing happens with this. But if these are like a warning somehow, then it's better if I remember them because it'll help us all if I remember them. So
Your mental condition is certainly unique with terms of your capabilities. So it would do us well to pay attention to these. But you are under no obligation to use them, so if you should change your mind, then do let me know.
thank you, Jason. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I want to do my best for this crew, though. I want to do what I can. So
You're doing great. And how are you feeling in yourself? I noticed you'd been a bit down after the trip aboard the other ship and then in the prison. You've not been yourself.
it was that ship. It brought back memories. The lab.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it at some point, but I figure you've got stuff to do today. Probably best to leave it.
So I will probably have to go and deal with this problem first. But talking about it is a good first step in assessing whatever is going on. And from there, we can figure out what might help you. It's not my area of expertise, but I'm not untrained in it either. And if needs be, we can always see whether someone I know would be able to talk to you about it. No labs. We can do it all on the ship, yeah?
Yeah, no labs. Thank you, Jason. That really helps.
All right.
So, what's the game plan with that potential tidbit?
I think it's Jason and I going, but perhaps we bring some suits with us just in case.
That's why we bought them. It's exactly.
Are you gonna go in with your armored vac suits on?
I don't think we have to enter with our suits on. I
Armored
think
vac suits take time to put on.
So we can have them on without our helmets.
Yeah,
right?
armored vac suits you could have on without your helmets, and
be
you
like-
would look weird, but you could explain like
Be
what's
like
going
potential radiation leak. We just need to be sure.
on. Yeah, you can bullshit it.
Yeah, it's not bullshit at all. You kidding me? Assuming you bring
it's a good ruse as well.
We're working on a reactor.
It's a good reason, but there's
Yeah.
a ship full of people who don't think there's no problem.
Right.
So walking in with vac suits on is weird, but
Right.
it's still a good idea. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just
Yeah.
explaining
Do
logic.
you inform me of the situation?
Oh yeah, I'd also update you on the whole dream sitch.
That I imagine you do separate from Tomas, though.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's
So-
confidential.
So that one probably comes in the form of a report, which I'll read and note, and definitely want to approach, but now's not the time for that. So I will send word over to the captain over there, kind of like open communications, and be like, so whenever he receives.
I'm more asking. I'm wondering what you're gonna say.
Yep, sure. So I'll say to him, this is Captain Davis.
I more want a
Magpie.
summary
Oh, okay.
because I'm fairly sure you're gonna say something that has already been said to him.
Yeah, you've had communication of the situation. My crew is coming aboard to look things over. They will be coming over fully prepared for any type of contaminants that might
See,
happen.
that's the thing.
This
yeah.
is standard operating procedure for us to approach all situations as though they are dire.
And I would even say, like, you could even find something in, like, the employee manual that's, like, relevant to swish
Health and
up.
safety with working on reactors.
I also set a backbone with this when I went in there with my simulation. I treat everything as though it's the worst case
exactly.
scenario. So,
Exactly.
which isn't true, but for them it is.
Perfect. So, you two go head over to that ship with your armored vac suits on, but with your helmets, like, under your arms and stuff. And,
Yeah.
Maybe
I imagine I have like a bunch of like tools. in
Yeah,
my
exactly. But I mean, you have a multi-tool, which means you don't need to carry around your
Oh, that's
tools
true.
most of the time.
Oh, that's beautiful. You just push some weapons and it push some buttons.
Yeah.
Weapons.
Well, it's basically a tool belt on your wrist instead of being
Yeah.
something you take off. But yeah. The thing is when you step out of your ship, which is a little bit weird about this station, is that it opens up aside from your airlock and then like a corridor outside of your airlock, right? Into a very, very open space where you figure the disc that this station is almost entirely open aside from like side rooms and looks like food stalls and things like if you go to a shopping center or a mall where you have like sort of inset buildings and things. It looks like it's almost all entirely open, with like this big trading plaza with like areas of trees around the middle, because any long stay space station is going to have plant life in it just so people don't go insane. So you kind of come out in these back suits and immediately look a little weird, but you're a even though you don't act like it, you are a merchant vessel, so it's actually not as strange as you might feel like it is at first. Maybe someone gives you like a second glance or something, but when you walk over to the Flowering Rose, no one gives you trouble. If you got to imagine there's like an outer road on the outer ring where, you know, there'd be sort of like forklifts and things pulling cargo and stuff. You would go on there instead of the more lived-in central area. And you head to the Flowering Rose, and because Davis called in ahead, actually you'd be greeted by one of the engineering members outside, not the head of them. They'd be like, there's some sort of problem that you're working on?
Yeah, we have a couple things we need to sort out. Just first off, we'll start with like a basic check of all the systems, and then we'll go into more detail depending on what that check really says.
Okay. And he'll like lead you in. You actually never did a full checkout of the entire Flying Rose, did you? Like,
No.
Manually. So when you enter, this sort of personal airlock enters into the sort of... You gotta remember, like, all these pike ships are kind of fish-like. It's sort of like on its side. Where it has a head at the front, which would be the bridge, and some meeting rooms. Then on the sort of sideways, there's lots of sort of living space and things. But if you go down the spine, which is usually surrounded by cargo containers, and is right now, sort of in the middle of the spine is their engineering room, which you were led towards and is very well guarded and things, and has several like sort of blast doors in it, which your engineer and attendants will open up for you, and there'd be other engineers in here, and would lead you towards their engineering chamber, which is similar to yours, though because yours is very close to your engines, a lot of things are more manual, where this has a lot more sort of longer connections to much bigger engines and things. But it's always interesting going into essentially the heart of a ship, being able to see their reactor and their punch drive and things like that.
As we go in, I've got my bioscanner out. So I am...
You're scanning for a radiation leak or something, right?
And also signs of radiation damage on the crew that work in here. Because there's always possible that it's a radiation leak small enough that I wouldn't detect.
Well, the way bioscanner is, you can't really just do a sort of skim. You have to really sort of... I mean, you've seen me playing No Man's Sky. You've got to sort of hold it there for a second. So
okay.
You would have to ask them to do that, which you could, but I think you're more sort of want to do a sweep.
No, I won't do it just yet then.
Yeah. When you're entering, you maybe even take a hesitant step before you enter the engineering bay proper. There is nothing beyond the standard radiation you would expect from an engineering bay, which is more than the standard amount you'd expect on a regular planet. But within, I was just going to say legal amounts, which is still true, but within acceptable amounts. Ultimately, this is the room with the reactor. There's always going to be some excess radiation, no matter how good your reactor is. So it's actually within acceptable bounds.
Perfect.
And,
back on the Magpie, can we have the crew on the bridge, and so we can have comms open if need be?
Yeah, essentially because they're on a mission. I imagine everyone's in the bridge.
Okay. And can I just run a quick diagnostics, whether it be administrative or whatever, to make sure that we have a decent supply of like Rad X in the medical bay?
Jason's medical bag. Oh, actually, why don't you give me a administer intelligence?
Sure. Because I know he has his
He has
basic
his medical
stuff.
bag, which he probably took with him. But essentially, the way his medical bag works is that, like, you know, his room is essentially a tiny med bay. So you're looking through this as you were informed, and you check his supplies and his scans and things, and Jason actually keeps very good logs. And you come to the conclusion that if someone was to take radiation damage, life-threatening radiation damage, you don't have the facilities to treat them. You have the facilities. Well, you don't have the facilities to cure them. You have the facilities to keep them stable, and maybe get them to a place that could treat them. Okay. And you figure Jason could do that. But you would have to take them to a more, just a larger facility.
Honestly, their ship is the one with laboratories and whatnot. Theirs probably even has
Their
it,
ship
but...
doesn't have laboratories and would have a better med bay, but and this can be in the same administer. Again, not a true med bay. You need a ship with a med bay.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So it's better than ours, but still not good. Gotcha.
Yeah,
so,
they have a room for med bay things. They don't even have a ship's doctor or anything like that.
Oh, all right. So obviously the scene's going back to them, but having a haunting thought, I want to throw our ship's like power fluxes and everything like kind of up on our primary screen in the bridge. Like I was like, a haunting thought. It's one of those I give the order over to Anna. I'm like, Anna, could you get our own power balances and radiation levels and whatnot? Just all the sensors happening down in engineering. Put those up on the primary monitor, please. Let's just watch our own vessel as well.
Yeah. I imagine you have like the scan of their ship and the scan of your ship, and you're just watching, as a captain should on this kind of job. So, Jason and Thomas. Actually, this is the perfect time for a break. I totally forgot because you guys took forever to get back last time. But it's been an hour. So why don't we take a real quick break and we'll get back to the scanning, the figuring out of things in a moment.
But do we have to? Oh, wow, it's 4:11.
Yeah, I know! You spent so long shopping!
Ow!